what has been the greatest achievement that you've had in high school? Obviously, you're just now starting college, and we got some ways to go from there. But what was the greatest achievement, team or individual, that you had in high school? Because you guys were pretty good your junior year.
Yeah, I'll definitely say junior year, like that run we had, went all the way to semi-state. That was probably definitely the biggest thing for us. Because, I mean, it had been, I think, like 11 or 12 years since we even had won a sectional, and being able to win the sectional and then win the regional too, it was a really big thing for Leo.
How was it playing with Caden Hurst? I mean, obviously you had Landon, you had, let's get this clear. So the conversation that happened a few years ago, who's better, the NE8 or the SAC? It came in my head. I want you to clarify what's your thoughts on that, because you guys had you had Caden, you had Strat Fuller, you had Mylan, Ajani. I mean, you guys were loaded NE8, which is a little bit unusual, historically. So talk to us about that. That, like, what would the NE8 have done to the SAC when you were playing? If it were all-star versus all-star.
If it was all-star versus all-star, I feel like that's a pretty good matchup. I mean, we had a lot of big-time players. They did too. But
you're done with high school now. You can be honest about it.
I think the NE8 is winning that game. So at least if you take, especially my junior year, so we can get the class above us with those guys, I think we definitely win that game.
Give me a score.
It'd probably be like 35, 20, something like that.
And are you playing tight end and DN?
Yeah, I'm playing both.
All right, give me your offensive lineup. Give me your offensive lineup with your junior class and the senior class. Give me, like, it don't have to be all linemen, but give me your quarterback, give me your skill positions. What does that look like?
I'm trying to think of a quarterback. We could probably go. I'll just go Kyler, our quarterback, because he had a really good season junior year. And the receivers, it'd be me, Mylan, Caden, Stratton, and like Landon, Cam Zeisloff, all any of those guys, and Johnny, they all rotate in. Like, we would never fall short of receivers.
Running back, give me a running back. What's your
running back? I'll go Darius Carter.
How has playing in NE8 helped you, whether it's having to work harder or playing with those type of players like Caden Hurst? Because obviously coming from a winning culture helps players as they transition to college. How has the NE8 prepared you in whatever respect as you went on playing in ACC at Miami?
I mean, it definitely helped, like, because especially playing at Leo, like, we're kind of like known for being like one of the contenders like each year to win the NE8. So definitely coming from like a winning culture, like where you're kind of expected to perform and win, was definitely a really helpful thing. Like, we won the conference my freshman year, and then junior year we had like a 3-way tie or something with it. So definitely being able to come from a winning culture has definitely helped me so far in college too.
And Rylan Crawford was how much older was Rylan than you?
He was a senior. I was a freshman.
Okay, so he is old.
Yeah.
Okay, he's old.
He's old. Yeah.
Okay. Talk to us about the Leo community, right? Like, you have communities that are kind of dispersed everywhere. You have certain communities that start from the foundational level and just kind of build up. How has that Leo community helped you in terms of the family orientation, the football, playing with those same guys consistently throughout the course of your time? What was that experience like, being from that community?
I mean, it really helped. Like, especially my freshman year, I think was like really significant. Like, being able to be on a team with like Landon and Rylan and like DJ and all them, because they kind of helped like push me in the right direction. They kind of brought me here. Like Rylan, like coming in and training with him, working with him giving me like advice. Like, he really helped me get better at receiver from a skill standpoint and stuff like that. So, I mean, just having those people around and that type of culture at Leo has definitely really helped me.
And DJ Allen is at Rutgers. Landon Livingston is at West Virginia. Rylan's at Illinois State right now. And then obviously Caden's at Ohio. Yeah. And so you have really good caliber of players. Zeisloff is, I think, at Indiana Wesleyan. And then Landon Hepner is at Army.
Yeah.
So you have a good group of players that have walked through those halls and, played in that program. I think that you were in a point where, to make the decision to go to Miami was it was different, amongst Midwest individuals, because you had the opportunity to also go to Ohio State. And so talk to us about that whole recruiting process. And, we just had a podcast with Jaquaden where we talked about, like, everybody wants to be recruited until you get to the recruited part. Yeah. And you got to make decisions. You got to tell coaches no. You got to be able to balance out the decision and the thought process. How was your recruiting process?
I mean, like, when I remember getting my first offer, like, it was Western Michigan, like, right after school, like, coach calls you, like he offers you, like it's like one of the most exciting moments of your life, like, and you keep getting offers, like they keep coming in, and you're like, oh man, like all these schools want me. And then as it progresses, you start taking these visits, and you're like, you kind of realize where you want to go, where you don't really like, and then having like to call coaches and like be like, this isn't the place for me, like that was definitely like really tough for me, like especially like because you're building good relationships with all these people, and having to call them and be like, hey coach, like this isn't for me, like that was a really hard thing to do, especially calling coaches like when it got really narrowed down, like calling like Ohio State, like Iowa, the schools that I was like really considering to, like that was definitely like one of the hardest parts of the recruiting process.
What were the values that shaped the decision that you made? Obviously, I know you're a family oriented guy, and you go from here to Miami. What did Miami do? And obviously, Coach Waddell. What did they do to secure Brock Schott? As a football player.
I mean, going down there, I think being able to like to see what they're doing for the future, really. I mean, like, because you see like the classes that they're building, like they're getting some of the best recruiting classes like in the country each and every year. So, like being able to see like, I mean, Cristobal came from Oregon. He had a really good career at Oregon, and then like seeing like what they're gonna do in the future really kind of helped bring me in. And seeing that their like last 10 or 12 tight ends or something have gone to the NFL that have started, like that was also another thing for me. Like, going somewhere where a tight end is going to get utilized was definitely a really big factor for me.
When did Miami become the leading school? Because I know when we went down there, I think it was May of 2024. Was it last?
It was.
Or the summer before?
Yeah, I think it was 23.
Yeah, so we went down there and we were on a visit. You were with your mom, and I think you were with your sister. Was it? I know mom was there.
Yeah, I think it was just my mom.
Yeah, so mom was there, and we went there and we were visiting and we got to see it. When did Miami become like the leader in your recruiting?
I would say probably after, like, I was probably towards the end of my junior season. I would say, like, well, that's kind of when I started cutting out schools, like, especially once football was done. I was kind of like, all right, I'm going to focus on recruiting now that the season's done, like, kind of pick or choose where I want to go. And I think that was kind of when Miami kind of started shooting up towards the top of the list.
What was your dream school coming out of high school? Like, what if there was one school that you really wanted, what was it?
It was definitely Notre Dame. I was always a huge fan of them growing up.
Yeah. Why were you a huge fan of Notre Dame?
My dad's a big Notre Dame fan, my grandparents, so, we always grew up watching them, like, every Saturday. I went to a couple games when I was little, too, so they kind of just always been a fan of them when I was little.
Miami won, but as you got closer, you never took the Ohio State visit, right?
Not the official, no.
The official. But Coach Bailey was pretty strong in the process, wanting to get you. Talk about that experience, because how hard is it to pass up no to Ohio State? I mean, everybody in the country, when you think Ohio State, you think premier program, you think supreme program. It's all of these thought processes that go on, but to reject or say no to an Ohio State offer, how hard was that?
That was by far the hardest part of my recruiting process, definitely saying no to them, because, I'd been talking to them for, like, I think almost 2 years at that point. Like, they hadn't offered me yet, and when they had finally offered me, I was kind of like, well, Ohio State, like Miami was kind of up there, and then it was like Ohio State. I kind of knew, like, as soon as they offered me, it was either going to be Miami or Ohio State. So kind of having to just wait it out, take a couple visits, and just keep talking to the coaches, it was definitely the hardest part of my process, probably making that final decision between those two.
Yeah, because Bailey, obviously from a tight end standpoint and just a ball standpoint, Bailey's obviously one of the young, brightest coaches out there, and he's been doing it for a while. I think he's been at every single level in college football as it relates to the position within a program, and he just worked his way up. Now he's the co-offensive coordinator, I believe. But Coach Waddell is also a phenomenal coach.
Yeah.
How is that? I mean, I know Coach Waddell was really, really hard on you. Like, he was, Coach Waddell was every day, yo, Brock is my guy. I love him, I'm trying to get him. How has that relationship matured as you transition into college?
I mean, a lot of people talk about, like, when coaches are recruiting them, they're like, show them all this love, and they're like, and then they get to campus and the coaches like completely switch up. I mean, with him, it wasn't like that at all. Like, he was the same person, like, with recruiting, and like as soon as you get there, like, he helped guide us into the process. It went really smooth, and being able to take visits to kind of see how he was, like, in the tight end meeting room and with the practice and stuff like that, definitely really helped too with that decision. You kind of seeing how he is in recruiting and at practice and stuff like that. So I mean, he's definitely been really good since I got there.